Welcome back. Today is March 10th, 2026. There's a lot of news to process today. Take a breath. We're going to look at the signals together and find the what you need to know. Over the last 24 hours, the world has felt significantly smaller and much louder. We are seeing a massive escalation in the air campaign against Iran. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is calling this the most intense day of strikes yet. In Tehran, the sounds of explosions have become a constant backdrop to daily life. But for us, the ripple is the realization that we have moved past surgical strikes and into a full-scale regional war. Think about the young people in your life for a second. With the Pentagon confirming that 140 service members have been injured and 7 have been killed, the conversation about a potential draft or massive troop deployments is no longer just a whisper in the back of our minds. It is a weight sitting right there on the kitchen table. This heaviness only grows as we see the documented toll of these strikes. Images have surfaced showing fragments of American-made missiles at the site of a hit elementary school in Iran. It is a heartbreaking sight, and it creates a ripple of moral crisis for all of us. When civilian lives are caught in the crossfire of our policy, it changes how the rest of the world looks at us, and it might even lead to international legal challenges for our leaders. It makes the conflict feel less like a strategic operation and more like a tragedy we are all tethered to. And if you were hoping for a quick diplomatic exit, the transition of power in Iran has made that path much steeper. Mojtaba Khamenei has officially taken over as supreme leader. He is known as a hardliner, and while President Trump says he is unhappy about the choice, the reality is that this consolidation of power likely means this war won't end through a regime collapse from within. For you and your family, this means preparing for a long-term conflict rather than a short-term skirmish. It means the uncertainty we feel today might be our new normal for a while. This conflict in the Middle East is already beginning to touch the things we use every single day. Iran has started deploying naval mines in the Strait of Hormuz, which is a tiny but vital strip of water that handles 20% of the world's oil. Because the Navy isn't escorting commercial tankers right now, shipping insurers are in a total panic. The ripple here is very direct. If that strait is blocked, we aren't just talking about a rise in prices. We are talking about a physical shortage of fuel and goods. It is the fear that one day soon, the things we take for granted might simply not be on the shelves or at the pump. We are already seeing the first signs of this at the gas station. Prices have climbed past $3.50 a gallon, the highest we have seen in years. Crude oil is creeping toward $100 a barrel. Even though the administration says this is temporary, the ripple is felt every time you swipe your card. It feels like a tax on your hard work, devaluing your paycheck and making everything from groceries to Amazon deliveries more expensive. It is a reminder of how vulnerable our daily lives are to events happening thousands of miles away. To try and stop the bleeding, the G7 and other allies are meeting to release their emergency oil reserves. But we have to be honest about what that is. It is a finite bandage. The ripple for us is the knowledge that we are using up our backup plan. If we empty these reserves now to keep prices down, we are left with zero margin for error if another disaster hits later this year. It feels like we are borrowing from a future that is already looking quite uncertain. This economic pressure is hitting the global manufacturing world hard too. Volkswagen just announced 50,000 job cuts because their profits have plummeted under new tariffs and global instability. This is one of the largest labor contractions we have seen in a long time. The ripple here is the anxiety of the worker. Even if you don't work for a car company, these shifts in the global supply chain eventually find their way to our own towns and our own neighbors. It is a sign that the giant gears of the world economy are starting to grind and slow down. As the world outside becomes more volatile, we are feeling the echoes of that tension here at home. Federal authorities just conducted controlled explosions in Pennsylvania linked to an ISIS-inspired plot targeting New York City. This follows a suspicious device being found near a politician's home. The ripple is a return to a state of high alert in our own communities. It means looking over your shoulder at the train station or feeling a bit of hesitation in a crowded space. It is the realization that as things heat up overseas, the risk of retaliatory attacks on our own soil moves into a much more dangerous phase. This sense of unease is spreading even to our closest neighbors. There was a shooting at the U.S. consulate in Toronto, which is being treated as a national security incident. Think about that for a moment. Even historically safe Allied territory is seeing this violence. The ripple is the feeling that geographic distance no longer provides the shield it once did. It makes the world feel like it is closing in, and it forces us to rethink what it means to be truly secure. This is all happening while our own Department of Homeland Security is effectively shut down due to a funding fight in Congress. TSA and Border Patrol agents are working without pay, and airport lines are stretching to 4 hours or more. The ripple here is a mix of frustration and fear. It is the headache of missing a flight, but it is also the deeper worry that the people meant to keep us safe are being asked to do so while they can't even pay their own rent. It creates a gap in our armor at the exact moment we need it to be strongest. Even our technology and our legal systems are being pulled into this atmosphere of protectionism and friction. The White House is preparing to blacklist the AI firm Anthropic, calling it a national security risk. This is part of a new era where the government is actively dismantling tech firms if they suspect foreign influence. The ripple for you is a growing distrust in the tools we use. If the government doesn't trust the AI brain of a major company, it makes us wonder what other parts of our digital lives are being monitored or compromised. This internal friction is mirrored in our government, where President Trump is refusing to sign any new laws until the Save America Act is passed. Because the Senate won't budge, we are at a total standstill. The ripple is that essential services and funding bills are trapped in the crossfire. It feels like the people we elected to steer the ship are instead fighting over the wheel while the storm gets worse. This tension has even reached the Supreme Court. Justices Jackson and Kavanaugh are publicly arguing over how the court handles emergency cases for the administration. Justice Jackson is warning that they are bypassing the rules just to give the White House quick wins. The ripple here is a loss of faith in the one place that is supposed to be above politics. When the highest court in the land is seen as a shortcut for power, it makes the foundation of our law feel shaky. We are also seeing the federal government widen its probe into the 2020 election results in Arizona. By using federal power to re-examine an election that was already certified, the ripple is a shift in how much control the federal government has over the states. It keeps us looking backward at old wounds instead of finding a way to heal and move forward together. There is, however, a small sign of balance. A federal judge in Portland has ruled that federal agents can't use indiscriminate force and must identify themselves during protests. The ripple here is a return to local oversight. It is a reminder that even in chaotic times, there are legal firewalls designed to protect our civil liberties from secret police tactics. It is a small but important signal that the rules still matter. The news was heavy, but you are not carrying it alone. Stay connected. Stay present. We are right here with you. See you in the next brief.